More than 7 months after a Surrey teen with autism was fatally shot by police, there are still many unanswered questions. Now experts are weighing in on whether lethal force was the only option and why the police watchdog's probe is taking so long. CTV's Reagan Hasegawa has part 2 of our investigation into this heartbreaking case. And a warning, this story contains disturbing content.
Chase didn't pass away instantly like we had thought. We could hear him on the ground, and he was moaning.
Chase De Balinhard has watched the final moments of her son's life over and over. After 7 months and no report from the IIO, it's the only way she's been able to get answers.
All I know is that from what I saw on the video surveillance that I was given, was Chase was non-aggressively walking away from the RCMP. There was no de-escalation.
Former Solicitor General and West Vancouver Police Chief Cash Heed has reviewed the video several times.
Given the fact that there was no other further de-escalation technique, kind of concerns me because I'm not sure the officers were in immediate danger that they had to utilize that level of force, but that's all within their own judgment.
RCMP say the initial call was for a person in distress with a firearm. Chase's family later confirmed he was carrying an unloaded pellet gun.
The officers in my review of this several times are protected. They're behind the vehicle.
Heed says their positioning gave the officers more options to de-escalate.
There is adequate protection for them, and I think that would have possibly given them an opportunity to utilize something else besides just yelling at the individual that you don't want to do this, you don't want to do this.
But this video is less than 1 minute of what RCMP says was an extensive 40-minute long interaction.
Video is taken from a certain angle as well. It's not taken from the angle or the proximity of the officers. Just that small little point could make a difference in how it would be assessed.
This retired major crimes investigator says the IIO's report into the officers' actions will be extensive.
That starts before the actual call took place. They're going to, for instance, want to know the training.
Last year, it took the IIO an average of 52 days to conclude an investigation. Chase's case has taken more than 4 times that so far. It's not yet known if the officers suspected they were interacting with someone on the autism spectrum.
Research has shown that the words from a dispatcher could prime or set the stage for what the officer believes they're walking into. And then that could affect them if something happens very early in the call.
This retired police officer with nearly 30 years of experience teaches use of force at the Justice Institute of BC.
You can't train for all the inevitabilities of using force on the street. It's impossible. There's too many. That's why police officers are just ordinary people doing an extraordinary job.
He's in the midst of a tour around the world to learn the best practices of other policing agencies.
I see that what we're doing at the Justice Institute of British Columbia, we're pretty far ahead of the curve.
All BC police officers are required to take crisis intervention and de-escalation training every 3 years. Arsenault says policing is constantly evolving to meet the needs of the community.
If the officers were maybe possibly better trained, maybe they recognized that this kid's on the spectrum, and maybe the outcome would have been different.
Witnesses to Chase's death question whether lethal use of force was necessary.
Why was he shot, and shot to kill? This was a kid.
You shoot to stop the threats of generally the torso. Because it's the largest target on the body, and it's the least mobile.
Heed says there were other tools worthy of being considered.
We've seen the use of Arwin guns, which is a rubberized 37 millimeter bullet. We've seen beanbag shotguns that have been utilized with people that have weapons.
But Arsenault says challenging a lethal weapon with a non-lethal one is risky.
That's why you have to have lethal overwatch. So I'm going to try something less, and if it doesn't work, then my partner is going to take him out. That's worth a try. It saved a lot of lives doing that.
But until the IIO investigation is complete, the De Balinhard family is only left with pieces of a very complex puzzle. Reagan Hasegawa, CTV News, Surrey.